All right, after the celebrating milestone session, it's time for a celebrity session. From pitch to the pavilion, cricket mantras in the digital field. So before I invite our speakers on stage, I'll first invite our session moderator. Deepali Naair is the Group Chief Marketing Officer at CK Birla Group. Prior to this, Deepali was the Chief Marketing Officer for IBM in India and South Asia. She also led digital sales for IBM for India, Australia, ASEAN. She is also a podcast host to a successful series called Being CEO with Dipali Nair. Before IBM, she led marketing and digital at IIFL Wealth Group of Companies. She was also a non-executive member of the board at IIFL Wealth Finance. Please put your hands together as she is already on stage. Thank you, ma'am. And our next speaker is an inspiration, a motivation, and a real life story of how and what one can achieve in a single life with sheer determination, talent, grit, and passion. He is an idol and a role model to thousands of youngsters and also not so young. Please join me in welcoming a sportsman par excellence, recipient of a Padmashree, C.K. Naidu Lifetime Achievement Award, and Wisden Cricketer of the Year. A proven player and a complete team man, he served as a captain of the Indian team and is also a seasoned cricket administrator. He was the member of the 1983 World Cup winning team and also served as a chairman of the BCCI. He played for India over 16 years. He played 679 first class games, out of which he represented India for 245 matches. A staggering of 33,079 first class runs, out of which scored 10,376 runs and 18 centuries while he wore the Indian cap. The list of his accomplishments can go on and on, but without further ado, please put your hands together as I invite our special guest for the evening, Dilip Balwant Vengsarkar, please. Thank you, sir. Absolutely an honor to have you.
I can't tell you what a pleasure it is to do this for NASSCOM. So I am eternally grateful to NASSCOM for doing this. By the way, they gave me an option of interviewing somebody else. I chose to interview Mr. Vengsarkar, and I told him that. I said, I've flown in specially from Delhi, where I work, to do this. I was sharing about my podcast. Please do look it up, and we discuss leadership lessons over there. I said, how will I ever let go of the pleasure of interviewing him and drawing either management or leadership lessons for all of you. But I think if he just tells us the tales from his life, that itself will be, I think, such a worthwhile experience for all of us today. I've had a 15, 20-minute a pleasure talking to him just now. I can't tell you how humble he is. I've just spent 15, 20 minutes with him. So thank you, Mr. Vengsarkar, for joining us today. And my first question is about innovation. It's very important for us in management circles, in our companies, to innovate and to come up with creative ideas, especially when it comes to talent hunt. But I actually think you did the best job of it. And I'm going to read so that I don't get it wrong. You were the chairman of the Talent Resource Development Wing, which was founded in 2002. And I'm told Suresh Raina, Irfan Pathan, Srishant, Piyush Chawla, RP Singh, and many more were discovered under this initiative. The IPL franchise also started under the TRDW wings in 2009. I mean, it's just phenomenal to think of, having a wing like that to spot talent. To me, that is sheer creativity. This changed the face of cricket, according to me. So my question to you is, how did the thought occur to you?
Well, it was not my idea, to be honest with you. I was requested. I think it was Jagmohan Dalmia. I think it was the president of BCCI at that time. And he was very keen to start this TRDW, Talent Resource Development Wing of the board. And he asked me to chair it. To be honest with you, I can just go backward in the sense, after I retired in 1992, I was asked the board president to become chairman of selection committee immediately. And that time, we used to have selectors from each zone. West zone, south zone, north zone, east zone, and central zone. So I told Mr. Dalmia that I'm not comfortable with zonal system because I was a captain of the team and I've seen what is not going to help us. And he said, no, Dilip, I think India is a huge country and we have to have a zonal system. Then I said, I'm not interested. It was an honorary job. I mean, there was no money in the game that time. So after 4 years, again, he asked me. I said, sir, you have to change the system. He said, Dilip, I can't change the system. You have to be part of it. And then later on, what happened was he asked me to do this. And I was very keen to help young cricketers because I think I have the talent. And then I became chairman. And we used to have 5 from each zone to spot talent. And this is a very short list which you have just read.
Absolutely, it's a short list.
Uh,
Yes.
Now those who are playing for India, they have been spotted by us. And including MS Dhoni,
Yes.
including Rohit Sharma, the Virat Kohli, all those guys who are playing now. I think besides, of course, Irfan Pathan, Parthiv Patel, and all those guys I think who played in 2002 onwards. So I enjoyed doing that. I watched a lot of matches for the under 14 all over India, under 16, under 19. Then I told Mr. Dalmia that even if I spot talent, they had to be picked by the picked by selectors. Then he told the selectors that you listen to Dilip, whatever he says, and you pick the side. So what happened was, in under 19, I think we were going for the World Cup, and I was impressed by Shikhar Dhawan. But unfortunately, I think he had failed in a couple of games. And I was not there, actually. I had gone out, but I could not attend the meeting. And I was told that Shikhar Dhawan was dropped by the selectors for the World Cup. I asked for the team, and I saw there's no name of Shikhar Dhawan. So I asked the chairman of selection committee. He said, sir, he failed in 2 matches. I said, you pick him, you put his name there. Don't worry about that he failed 2 matches. And he was the highest scorer for the India under 19 in the World Cup.
Fantastic.
You know, a lot of cricketers like Irfan Pathan, Parthiv Patel, they had not played for their state first, but they played for the West Zone straight away. Because I was given absolutely free hand, so I could just pick the boys and put them whether for the India A team, India under 19 team, or even for India team. And a lot of players, I'm very happy to say that they are still playing for India. IPL, a lot of players have played in IPL.
Yeah. Thank you. It's about him humbly telling us how it wasn't his idea, but sometimes you take somebody else's idea forward, and that happens in management. It's about, somebody else trusting his talent, spotting skills, and look at the result that we have in the Indian cricket. These are 2 lessons, I think, very important ones that we, I think, need to take back to the corporate world. We sometimes fall in love with our own ideas. I think that's the important one, I think, for everybody sitting over here. Mr. Vengsarkar, I'm going to continue. And your love for cricket, your love for talent, clearly shows from the story that you told us. All of us know, that through your cricket academies, you nurture young talent. And I won't name, but, I want you to talk about some of the famous cricketers who've passed through the annals of your cricket academy. And I want you to tell us about the importance of a mentor. How do these youngsters benefit? Because similarly, in companies also, we require mentors to spot that young talent and, to nurture them and, to coach them. So I want you to talk about that, please.
After I retired in 1992, like every cricketer says that I would like to give something back to the game. Uh, but I can say proudly that I've really, and I've done, I got 3 cricket academies. I'll be starting 4th one now. And thousands of cricketers I have gone on to play for Mumbai, for Maharashtra, for India, India A teams, Indian team, IPLs, whatever. And those who could not make it, they got jobs because a lot of corporates, a lot of bankers, they still come to my nets and they ask me who's a good opening batsman, who's a good all-rounder, who's a good fast bowler. We would only employ them. So they got employment as well.
Fantastic.
So I'm really happy about that. You asked me the question about
How does the mentoring help? What do we do? And you can take
Yeah.
example of some cricketer in your
yes.
city.
I think when I started, I had played a lot of international cricket. And when I started my cricket academy, and the kids were from under 12 age group to under 19 age group. And to be honest with you, when I saw them, I had no patience to be those days, you know. And I was saying, boss, I think I would like to do something for the game, but I can't coach or mentor, I think, kids who are 15 and 16 years of age. But then I developed those patience, you know, and I enjoyed it. I loved it because I could see the talent in them, the hunger in them. And these academies, CSR funded. Um, so these are free of cost to everybody. And we select the boys. And when I started in 1995 at the Oval Maidan in Churchgate, a lot of kids used to come from Bhivandi to Dahanu and Panvel, Kalyan Dombivli, all those places. And they were good cricketers. They're excellent cricketers. And they come from humble background. And they were hungry for success. So that is what I offered them. I offered them the international standard um, pitches and coaches, everything. And we have tournaments there. I conduct myself almost 18 to 20 tournaments every year in all my academies.
Wow.
So they get fantastic exposure and experience as well. So I remember in the first year, I got a call from Yogaraj Singh, who played with me for India, for his son. He said, Dilip, I'm sending my son to Mumbai. For those is Bombay. And he said, I have a look at him. And I asked him where he's going to stay. He said he's going to stay, I think, with a friend in Andheri. And on the first day, Yuvraj Singh, he came at 5 o'clock in the evening when our net started at 3 o'clock. And he started crying. I said, what happened? Uncle, I want to go back to Chandigarh. I can't stay here. I said, what happened? So the train journey, I can't handle it. He said, the first in Andheri, I was at a station, and they wouldn't allow me inside the train because I had a big kit bag as well. And somehow I had to miss 3 trains, and then I got into it, and then I was pushed out at Dadar.
Yeah.
And then again I was pushed at Bombay Central. So I'm going back home. I'm not coming tomorrow. And there are a couple of cricketers, I think Ajit Agarkar and Ramesh Pawar, the same age. So I told them to just came along,
Yeah.
And tell them the technique, how to go inside the train.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And then he came next day, and he was very happy. They were smiling. I said, "Aaj barabar hai ki nahi?" They said, "Uncle, barabar hai. Aaj, there is no issue at all." But sir, ek problem ho gaya because this Ajit Agarkar and Ramesh Pawar told me that you go with the kit bag in full force, and you can get in straight away. But what happened was at the Churchgate station, I went inside with full force. लेकिन सर 2 आदमी गिर गए वहाँ पे. तो I said, कहाँ गिर गए? नहीं सब प्लेटफॉर्म पे गिर गए. But he was a guy, but he worked hard. Then he went with the ST bus along with our team members, and then he played a tournament in Satara. He did extremely well. I mean, he was the immensely talented cricketer, and then he played for under 19 India very straight away. And as they say, the rest is history.
Yes.
And later on, Bombay High Court, they have this annual fixture against, I think, senior councils. Every year they play the match. So Chief Justice asked me, Dilip, can you ask Yuvraj to come as chief guest? And I said, I can ask him. If he's in Bombay, then I'll tell him to come along. And then I called up Yuvraj. Yuvraj, this is a thing, like, if you can come, it'll be nice. He says, Uncle, main aunga karke. And he came in sports Bentley. So it was a big change from the train journey he had from Andheri to Churchgate.
Yeah.
And it was a big change.
Yes. Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that with us. And I think the lesson that I want you to take back is that if you're mentoring somebody younger, it's not just about the work. I think it's about life. So if you're committed to mentoring, then do that. And I thank you so much for doing this for India. I think starting the academies. And here's a comment to everybody sitting over here. The academies are totally, you can invest in them through your CSR funds. So if any one of you actually want to help young Indian cricketers, and you love Mr. Vengsarkar, then talk to me. I'll tell you how to get in touch with him. But look at the CSR funding that your companies have, to sponsor the work that they're doing at the academies. They continue to look at very, very raw talent from rural areas, and really immensely, honored to know about the work that you do.
In fact, I want to give another example, of Yashasvi Jaiswal.
Yeah.
Yashasvi Jaiswal, I think now he's playing for India now. He came to Mumbai at the age of 14. He was wandering on Azad Maidan, the suitcase and kit bag. And he went in one of the tents, and he said, I want to play cricket. So all those Malis said, when are you going to play cricket? So anytime if I get a chance, I can play matches or whatever. They asked him, where are you going to stay? And he said, "Sir, I don't know where I'm going to stay." Because he was just 14, he just came from UP straight away. And he stayed with the Malis in the tent for almost 2 years. And they would give him dal, chawal, whatever they used to eat. And he will sell pani puri and bhel puri at night. And then he went to Anjuman Islam in school. And he did well for school. And his coach told me about his background. So I asked him to go to my nets at the Oval Maidan. So he came. I was impressed. And I take my academy tour to Manchester every year to play matches there. And I took him along. And every inning he scored runs.
Wow.
And then he played for India under 19. And he did extremely well. And he was picked by Rajasthan Royal for 3.5 crores. And this is his 5th year in the IPL. And he played for India. He made his debut against West Indies. And he scored 178 in the first test itself.
Wow. We often hear of these stories about Bollywood, but to hear about cricket and to young guys, which is in this age, in this era, it's fantastic. Mr. Vengsarkar, there's another question I want to ask you, and that's very important for all of us from a leadership perspective. You took over from, Kapil Dev after the, World Cup, and there is a change of guard that happens, when you take over as a captain. You need to sometimes do new things. You need to carry on some of the stuff that was done earlier and some of the hard work that has been, put there. And of course, we all know about you backing Dhoni. I want you to tell us, how did you prepare for the change when you did it? And what is your observation of, Dhoni also? When you do a change in leadership, what are the things to keep in mind?
See, it was easier for me because I was a captain of my school. I was a captain of Indian schools. I was a captain of Indian universities. I was a captain of Bombay for many years. It was easier for me. But then when I took over Kapil Dev, and I was a vice captain, and I had played a lot of international matches. So I knew about the team. Of course, India is a very diverse country. It's a diverse country in the sense that all the languages, culture, fitness, ethics, everything was so different because we in Mumbai, we don't have any fitness culture those days I'm talking about. And northern guys, they used to really work hard on their fitness. But then we used to say that when the fast bowlers come in, we're going to stay there and we'll face the music and we'll score runs. But then that was, in hindsight, I can say that if we have worked hard on our fitness, I think we would have done much better.
Yes.
But having said that, of course, MS Dhoni, when we picked him as the captain of the Indian team, I think he was not even a captain of the state team.
Yeah.
See, we saw his approach, his attitude, his cricketing sense. And when we discussed about him, and there was a tour of Australia, and Rahul Dravid had just resigned as a captain after we won in England.
Yeah.
I don't know why he did that, but he did. And then we're in a dilemma because the Australian tour is a very tough tour. Australia was an excellent team those days, at the end of Ricky Ponting. And then all selectors told me that Dilip, this is not a right time to make him the captain. I said, why not? See, they said that Australia has got a very aggressive press and they will go after the captain. So if you have the experienced player who can lead the side, he will handle the press better and he will handle the opposition better. So we picked Anil Kumble as the captain then.
Okay.
Anil did absolutely fantastic job. I think we should have won that series, but thanks to the umpire called Buckner, who really did us in on many occasions. But apart from that, we did extremely well. And then for the one days, we made MS Dhoni as a captain. And there was Australia, I think India and Sri Lanka, and we picked a young team. And MS as a very calm guy. I mean, the thing is that actually when I picked him, I didn't know him at all.
Oh.
When I selected him, it was in Calcutta. I remember that. And me and him, I think we were in business class, only two of us. So I thought this is the best time to know him. As soon as the flight took off, he slept. And he got up in Mumbai. So I didn't have a chance to word with him. But having said that, he was always calm. He hardly said anything, but he could think out of the box. I think, yeah, there are some excellent captains, but they would go by the tide. This guy knew how to win matches.
Yes.
And he knew at a strong point of each and every player. But I remember when we won the first World Cup, the T20 World Cup in South Africa, he gave, I think, 18 or 19 over to some, I don't remember his name now, Singh.
Joginder.
Huh? Joginder Singh, that's right, Joginder Singh. That's the only match he played, I think, And he started bowling wide, and I mean, he couldn't handle his nerves. It was against Pakistan, the final of the World Cup. But that was amazing. I mean, he could think of Joginder Singh at that point of time was amazing. See, it clicked, it didn't click. I mean that you can say in hindsight, whether it was a correct choice or a wrong choice, whatever. But Dhoni could think out of the box, and he was calm in every situation. They were the keeping wickets, batting, leading the side, whenever. I mean, he was fantastic captain.
Lovely. Thank you so much. So, if you go through my podcast also, you'll find leaders like him who were school captain, varsity captain, then the vice captain. Nobody questions when they make captains. And then you have somebody like Dhoni who's chosen because of the attitude, because of the fact that he was calm. And of course, now we know that he can strategize the game extremely well. I think YouTube is full of videos just now about the way, how he has an analytical and a strategic mind. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. Mr. Vengsarkar, what is extremely important, and we are all told, in boardrooms and in colleges when we're doing our MBA, that you should have actually a sportsman-like attitude, And when I look at that attitude, or, when I get to the bottom of it, it's about resilience. It's about how you face failures. It's about, how do you get back from the setback that you've, had. So therefore I'm asking you the question and I'm sure, I mean, no sportsman, is always successful. There are days when you're not. What do you say to yourself? And when you were the captain, what do you say to the team? And, even now when you sit in such an important position, in selection and things like those, when there is a failure, what do you say? What is the dialogue? And, we want to draw a lesson from that for all of us.
See, it's important to take pride in a performance. It's important to take pride in a team, and it's important to take pride in winning the matches.
Yes.
So these are the things which are very important virtues in the sense, and that is why whenever we were there, we used to pick match winners. We wanted to see match winners and who can win the matches. See, there are players who score hundreds, but how many have won matches?
Yes.
In India, kid comes home, they ask, आज कितना किया भाई runs? In Australia, they ask, have you won? So this
Mm.
is a big difference.
Mm.
So I always believe that if you're not doing well, uh, it's important to practice and practice and practice, which is very important. I think you can't avoid matches. And if you can just spend time in the middle and score runs, because this game is all about confidence. And confidence comes only 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 when you got runs behind you.
Yeah.
And I believe that if you score runs, then you're a different player, and you got that confidence back. But if you're not doing well, but if you're not um, doing well on the ground, then the confidence level is down. And of course, you can always watch and improve, because this game is about improvement. You can always see other players, how they play. You can always see the best players in the world, how they play, about the work ethics. Um, so this is why I'm saying IPL is so important.
Yeah.
You know, because there's some great players who are playing in the IPL. So the other young cricketers from India, from different states, from smaller states, they have learned from them, and they've got this confidence, which is so very important at the international level.
Yeah.
So I believe in players who can win matches. I think those who scores 100 and get out, I mean, has no meaning. They always feel, well, I've done my job. These others do it now. But I want players, I think, who stay there and then finish the game and win the match for your team.
Yeah.
And identify those players.
Yeah. So I think you're also saying that if you put in the hard work, if you put in the practice, you'll by and large be successful, but you could have a bad day. And I think that day you focus on the pride of what you've done earlier, and you also focus on how you can improve, and therefore the work ethics come in. I think that's your message, at least that I understood. On the failure side. I also want to ask you another question. When you're on field and you've played so much cricket, some tough decisions have to be made. Like you spoke about Dhoni picking up Joginder Singh. Sometimes you also have to tell a bowler, you're not going to be bowling any longer, for example, as a captain. Um, when you take those tough decisions, you hardly have any time, on the cricketing ground. In life, while making tough decisions, we have a lot of time to think and prepare, you know. But on the cricket ground, you don't have that. So how do you make the tough decisions?
See, now there are some players, I think, who do well, and they get into comfort zone. Um, and for that reason, it's very important to have a good bench strength. And I always believed in creating bench strength. So if X player, I think, is a superstar, but his attitude, he's not in the game, he's got into comfort zone, then you have somebody who can push him. So that is what I did. And I don't want to name players.
Sure.
Some of the players uh, who did extremely well when I got rid of some of the players. Of course, they brought them back when they came down on the earth. But having said that, it's very important to and have good players around. So so that see now Hardik Pandya was injured during the World Cup. Everybody thought that who's going to replace him.
Yes.
But Shami was there and he bowled brilliantly.
Yeah.
So I think replacement, that always helps.
Yeah, I think the IT services organizations here know enough about bench strength and creation of bench strength. But I think real life example, from cricket really helps, and that we should not depend on divas. We should have alternative, to divas. Mr. Vengsarkar, we are reaching almost the end of the segment, and I want to ask you to share with us any unusual anecdote or any humorous incident, from or whether it was, on field or somewhere else, something that I haven't asked you, which, something unusual that the people here would not have heard earlier.
Well, I can say only one incident.
Yes.
Well, of course, um, I can narrate many, but I can, since we paucity of time, I can say only one incident. On the tour of Pakistan in 1982, where Dilip Doshi is a cricketer. You must have heard of Dilip Doshi, I think, a great spinner. But he fancied himself also as a great batsman. And he was the only number 11 batsman that he used to have his own kit bag, his own bat, he's got his own helmet, and they had batting shoes, and elbow guard, chest guard, everything he had. And whenever we used to look fourth wicket, he was number 11, but he used to pad up, and he used to wait for his turn to bat. I once asked him, Dilip, you don't have confidence in us? No, he said, I'm getting acclimatized to the conditions. And whenever he used to come to bat, Imran Khan was the captain. He would take the ball, whether from Abdul Qadir or Akram or Sarfraz Nawaz or anybody for that matter, because it was a test wicket for him. He would come and bowl first ball, and Dilip used to get bowled. So 3-4 times he got bowled. Then he asked me, um, how can I improve myself? How can I, score runs? I said, see, now you are taking leg stump guard. Are you a middle stump guard? So when Imran comes, you will come on the leg stump, so you might connect. Again, he got bowled twice. Again, he came to me. He asked me, Dilip, what is happening? I asked him, are you a word with Sunil? So he went to Sunil. He asked Sunil Gavaskar, Captain, this is a problem. I can't connect the ball. He said, you take a off stump guard. So when Imran comes, you will come the middle stump. So you might connect. But he got bowled again. So six test matches, he got bowled. And after the series was over, and I was in Karachi, we were in Karachi in the last test match. I was packing my bags. And Abdul Qadir and Javed Mehta had come to see me. So we were having a cup of tea, and I said, yeah, Imran Kamal bowling here. They got 42 wickets. And they kept quiet, I said, don't you agree with me? And they said, 42 wickets, लेकिन 12 तो दिलीप दोषी के हैं.
Yeah, we didn't know that statistic. Thank you for sharing that with us. Some very small questions that I want to ask you is that, we spoke about, coaches and mentors and their importance. Who's been your mentor? Who's your role model?
Well, my captain for my club, Dada Union, late Vasu Pananspe. So he was my mentor because I played for the club at the age of 16. And I was playing with all the stalwarts at that time. But one thing I must tell you, that when I was picked in the Bombay team, at age of 18, we had Ashok Mankar, Sunil Gavaskar, Eknath Solkar, and all stalwarts in our team, But I always thought, I can match anybody in this team.
Mm-hmm.
That confidence I had. But at the age of 18, I was asked to do the scoring. In those days, I think 14 men would do the scoring. So the whole year I was doing scoring. And if Bombay won those days, we used to win very easily. And next year we were playing Irani Cup match at Nagpur. And I thought I would be doing scoring. But fortunately for me, unfortunately for Eknath Solkar, he got injured during this net practice. And I was told that I would be batting. I would be playing in the playing 11. And then I scored 100 in that match. And what I'm saying is, once you get the opportunity to grab with both hands. Yes. And another important thing, I must tell you is that you must perform when it matters.
Yes.
And on big occasions. I always tell all the trainees at the academy,
yeah,
you must perform in the final of the tournament. Of course, other games are very important. But in the big match, you have to deliver.
Yeah.
Then they will test your temperament.
Yes.
And the skill level, of course, everybody's got skill. They have their own skills. But there are different temperaments. And that is what matters in big games. So I don't want to say anything about the Indian team, I think, which lost to Australia recently.
Yeah.
But Australia, I think, was well prepared. That's what I thought for the final.
Yes.
India had won all the 10 matches.
Yeah.
But the way the Australia fielded, the way they bowled, they meant business.
So temperament matters apart from skill. Most challenging bowler faced?
All of them.
All of them?
I mean, when I played, everybody had fast bowlers. Every team had fast bowlers. I think West Indies had four.
Yes.
The four playing at one time, and they had 6 sitting outside.
Yeah.
Australia, the Dennis Lilly, then Rodney Hogg, Jeff Thompson. England had Bob Willis, Ian Botham. The Pakistan had Imran Khan, Sarfraz Nawaz, Akram. Then we had Kapil Dev, of course,
Yes.
the greatest all-rounder we have produced. Everybody,
It
those
shows
guys.
his temperament, huh? Every bowler, he said every bowler is a challenge. I think that shows his temperament about, being out there despite his skill with humility. So thank you for sharing that. And one last question to you. Who is the cricketer you enjoy watching in the current team?
Well, very difficult to say, but I think Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli are outstanding cricketers.
Fantastic.
I love them back. Love to see
So
them
does
back.
India. So does India.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't know if we have time for any questions. That leaves to the NASCOM team. So, yes.
Yes, yes.
Do we have a mic for him?
Yes,
or
yes,
you
yes, please.
or you say the question out loud and I will repeat it.
No, we have the mic.
Lovely. Thank you. The one and only question, please, for Mr. Vengsarkar. Yes, I am.
It was wonderful to have you, sir. Great learnings. I think the biggest discovery of the last 2 centuries that the cricketing fraternity has seen is the discovery of one gentleman, Bharat Ratna Sachin Ramesh Tendulkar. I think he's the one who discovered him because he was the one who told Kapil Dev to come and bowl at Sachin Tendulkar when he was just a teenager, all of 15 years old. I don't know how you really thought of this because Sachin Tendulkar, 15-year-old, Kapil Dev at his peak to come and bowl at him. So how did you even think of doing that? Of course, Sachin was a great player in the domestic season, but I think that changed the face of Indian cricket and the world cricket at large, having Sachin there.
Honestly, I didn't discover him. I was told by Vasu Paranspe. I was playing in time shield match at Parsi Gymkhana, and Vasu came and told me, that we have to watch Sachin Tendulkar, who is playing against Anjuman Islam in the finals of Harry Shield at CCI. I said, I am playing a time shield match. How can I come and watch him play? No, Dilip, you have to come. I said, I can't come. He said, and my mentor, Vasu, I can't say no to him. You see, I couldn't say no to him. And then we went to CCI. And Shada Sharma had declared the innings. Sachin had scored 300 runs. And then I think few days later, I was playing my 100th test match at the Wankhede Stadium. And we had our nets at the CCI. So I was surprised to see Sachin there. And Vasu said, I brought him. I said, you have a look at him. I said, how can I, tell Kapil Dev and Chetan Sharma, Harshad Dev, Manan Singh to bowl to him? No, you are the captain, you manage. I said, captain to theek hai yaar, lekin how can I tell them? I mean, as a young kid. But then I mustered courage and asked Kapil, can you just bowl to him for a while? And he batted, and he was very impressive. And that time we had to pick Bombay team. Same evening. And we are selected as in Ajit Wadekar, Naren Tamane, I think a few others. I think we had played test match cricket. So I broached the topic of Sachin Tendulkar. I said, you do pick him in the team. They said, no, he's too young. I said, you don't pick him in 11, but pick him in 15. So they agreed to pick him in 15. And then we went on the tour of West Indies. And he got an opportunity to play in Mumbai, I think for Mumbai. First match he scored against Gujarat, he scored 100. Then he played off West Zone. The first game, the Dilip Trophy match, he scored 100. Then he played Irani Cup match, he scored 100. And then he went on the tour of Pakistan. And the rest, as I say, is history.
Wow. Yes, I can. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to borrow his mic. He said, how could I say no to my mentor? And he spoke earlier also about how, how could Yuvraj, not say no to him. I think that Guru Samman parampara as I see it, and what we know in India is fantastic. Thank you for bringing that alive for us today. And it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, Mr. Vengsarkar. Thank you for this evening. Thank you, NASCOM.
Thank you, Deepali, for curating this, and thank you, sir, for doing this. All of us sitting in the audience, I'm sure, has grown up watching cricket, but didn't know these behind-the-scenes stories. So thank you for uncovering those secrets for all of us. Of course, the time is a huge problem here, but it's absolutely an honor to have you. Thank you very, very much for your time. May I please invite Mr. Shrikant Srinivasan to kindly step on stage and do the honors, please. So.